Brianna, thank you. After months of campaigning, Colorado's primary election is over and voters have decided who will move on to November.
Our team has been following the races, of course, all last night into this morning, and that team includes Kyle Clark. He joins us now, I'm sure not having very much sleep, but full of election analysis. So, Kyle, can we start with this? What would you say were the three biggest moments or three biggest takeaways from last night?
Sure. So big surprises for me last night. And I would say I don't think that there were a ton of surprises, at least not for folks who are following 9 News' political coverage over the last couple of months. The size of Phil Weiser's margin of victory over Michael Bennet in the Democratic race for governor, that surprised me. That he won by 10 points after being down by as many as 25 or 30 points. We certainly thought that him winning was possible, but running up the score like that, that was pretty wild. The fact that Victor Marx and his enormous mountain of money in the governor's primary on the Republican side was unable to overcome Barb Kirkmeyer. That race still close to call. That was another big surprise for me last night. He raised almost $3 million. Kirkmeyer had raised about $500,000. Victor Marx was having these big kind of evangelical revival style events around Colorado, seemed to have a lot of energy around his candidacy. It did not translate electorally, right? Barb Kirkmeyer, who barely had 2 nickels to rub together, was not doing a lot of big events around the state, was just kind of a known name in Colorado politics, has essentially fought him to a draw, and we'll wait to see in the coming days how the final votes in that race shake out. Those were the two big surprises. A lot of people are going to point to what happened in Denver with Democratic Socialist Melat Kiros beating Diana DeGette, perhaps beating her by double digits. That's where it looks like it's headed. I would not describe that as a surprise so much unless somebody wasn't paying a lot of attention to where the energy is in Democratic politics these days.
Kyle, you had an interview with Lauren Boebert last night talking about Democratic Socialist Melat Kiros' win in the Democratic primary being a gift to the Republicans. Here's what she had to say.
She is a self-proclaimed socialist. And Kyle, I think this is a gift to Republicans who are running on the general ballot in Colorado. So it is certainly an upset.
What is your reaction to that, Kyle?
Well, as I said to Congresswoman Boebert on the air last night, Melat Kiros is who Lauren Boebert says every Democrat is, which of course is not true, right? And Melat Kiros is a Democratic socialist, right? So that's not who Phil Weiser is or who John Hickenlooper is or who Jared Polis is or whatever. But I understand why it's advantageous for Republicans to paint Democrats with that broad brush. Republicans would not have been stopped from calling all Democrats socialists or communists or whatever else if Melat Kiros didn't win. It's incredibly helpful to them that she did win because they can say, look, there you go, an actual Democratic socialist in your congressional delegation, likely in your congressional delegation, answer for that. So certainly, like, Republican Gabe Evans, who's running in the 8th Congressional District, north of Denver up to Weld County, he'll have a really tight race in a swing seat come November. He will likely paint his opponent, Manny Rutinel, the Democrat, as a Democratic socialist, just like Melat Kiros. So it is very advantageous for Republicans.
All right, Kyle, let's go back to the Democratic side in the race for governor. Phil Weiser again beating Michael Bennet last night. So Michael Bennet goes back to D.C. as a senator. But long term, what does the future hold for Senator Bennet?
That is a phenomenal question, Drew. He doesn't like his job. He didn't like his job. He wanted to leave his job. And he said for years how ineffective the Senate is and how frustrated he is there. And Colorado Democrats last night said, hey, bud, don't quit your day job. So he has to go back there. Last night, his colleague, Senator John Hickenlooper, told another media outlet that he is going to try to get Michael Bennet to reinvest himself in the Senate. And I thought that was an interesting way of describing it. I mean, listen, I don't know. Anybody else who's ever applied for a job that you didn't get, right? It's a bummer. Then you have to go back to your old job. You have to see everybody that you work with who you may or may not like, and you have to pick up the work that you may or may not like. That's what he's left with. Certainly, right? It's an important job. Voters sent him there to do it. The expectation is that he's going to do it to the best of his ability. But does he run for re-election in 2 years? I don't know. Does he get a really strong progressive challenger in 2 years, stronger than what Hickenlooper got last night? I bet you that he does. Are Republicans looking at that and saying we need to have a competitive candidate there in case Bennet either retires or gets knocked off by the progressive left? Yeah, Republicans would be they would be well suited to come up with somebody there who would be a serious, credible challenger. So what happens to Michael Bennet? great question.
Wait and see.
Maybe when Michael Bennett doesn't even know the answer to at this
Yes.
point.
Kyle,
Yep.
real quick, it seems like there's only one race that really has yet to be called that's too close, even though Barb Kirkmeyer is already claiming victory. But that gap is narrowing now.
The gap is narrowing, yeah, and I think this is one of those things where like we want to be careful, like as we parse words. Like she said that she's optimistic that she will win. I don't know that she has said that she has won. Victor Marx is also saying that he's optimistic that he will win. The race is too close to call, right? This is the reason why we count the ballots. And the fact is, I would point people to what happened in 2022 when Barb Kirkmeyer ran for Congress in the 8th Congressional District, and she lost to Democrat Yadira Caraveo. It was a very close race. She had every incentive in that race to say, no, keep counting, let's wait. I don't want to concede right now. And she looked at it and she said, no, the votes aren't going to be there for me. They're not outstanding in the right places. I'm not going to win this. And she conceded. So Barb Kirkmeyer is not one of those people that pretends that elections are rigged. She does not play that game. So I think if she's saying, I think I'm going to win this thing, I believe that she thinks she's going to win. That's a different thing than actually winning.
Well, I think both are right in saying that they're optimistic that they're going to win because the results we're showing here this morning show they're separated right now by less than 2,000 votes. So, yeah, it is still anyone's race at this point. Kyle, it has been great to have you on last half hour and again this half hour with all that analysis from last night's results.
My pleasure.
We will continue to follow the election results as votes continue to be counted. You can stay up to date by streaming 9 News for free. You can watch everywhere just by scanning that QR code on your screen and watch for free. We'll be right back.